Tyrone Bowman Live. Welcome to the program, everybody. This is a hot topic and a hot story that I'm going to be talking about. And the reason why it must be talked about, because this individual is set to be confirmed by the Senate to lead one of the most powerful offices in the country. So before I get into it, this is a story for Politico, written in Politico Politics, that I'm going to be talking about. Let me make sure that my Wi-Fi, wasn't connected. So this is a story I found in Politico Politics, and I've got to talk about right now. Give me a second here, ladies and gentlemen. Computer's trying to play games with me. Now listen to this headline from Politico. Trump nominee says he has a, quote, Nazi streak, end quote, and bashes MLK Jr. holiday, according to text messages. Paul Ingratia's bid to lead whistleblower agency is set for a Senate confirmation hearing Thursday. This is the guy right here. This is a photo of Paul Ingratia as he stood outside the D.C. Central Detention Facility in Washington on January 20th. So I want you to be visual of the races that I'm going to be talking about, because that's what he is. This is the man I'm going to be talking about right here, right now. Now let's get down to this story. And this was written for Politico by Daniel Lipman. Daniel Lipman, I'm using your story here on Tyrone Bowman Live. Quote, Paul Ingratia, President Donald Trump's embattled nominee to lead the Office of Special Counsel, told a group of fellow Republicans in a text chain the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday should be, quote, tossed into the Seventh Circuit of Hell, end quote, and said he has a, quote, Nazi streak, end quote, according to a text chat reviewed by Politico. Now, this is not something that's made up. This is not something that somebody said. This is not hearsay. This is what this vitriolic, bigoted, racist man said in his text messages. And this is the person that they want to lead the whistleblower agency. Sure, the reason why they want him confirmed, so he can stop whistleblowing from happening, so he can stop complaints from happening, so he can fire any and everybody who dares disagree with anything that has happened or is being said. If the crap that he has said out of his mouth, and I'm just getting started, had been said about any other ethnic group of people, and it seems like only Black people are the ones that are always being targeted through the racism and the vitriol and the bigotry coming out of the mouths of these MAGA, racist, bigoted Republicans. They don't attack anybody else the way that they attack Black people. And they think that we're just supposed to sit down, shut up, and respond and pretend like it's never said. He didn't say, listen, he didn't say that he's a Nazi sympathizer. He said he has a Nazi streak, quote, close quote. Point blank, his ass should not be confirmed by the Senate. He has no place in government. Ingracia, who has a Senate confirmation hearing scheduled this Thursday, made the remarks in a chain with a half dozen Republican operatives and influencers, according to the chat. So that means he's on there with a bunch of other racist and bigoted people. If this same racist would have opened up his mouth and said anything against the late Charlie Kirk, his behind would have been fired. And you know it. But he can say anything he wants out of his mouth about and against black people, and it's okay. You want to know why? Because they all think alike. They'll stand up there and they'll placate before the cameras like they think we're imbecilic, we're stupid, we're asinine. Well, that's just one bad apple. We don't all feel that way. You know what? I haven't even seen the text. I don't even know what it says. How do we know he really said it? His ass said it. Point blank. He said it out of his racist, filthy mouth. If you want to be a Republican and be racist, that's your business. I don't give a damn. You can be whatever you want to be. But what you're not going to do is piss in my face and tell me it's raining. What you're not going to do is insult my people, insult my heritage, insult the accomplishments that my people have made to the significant prosperity of this nation. If you want to talk about criminalization, you got criminals in every ethnic group, not just in the black ethnic group. White people are criminals. Chinese people have criminals. Japanese people have criminals. Italians have criminals. Spanish people have criminals. And this is the man that will come before the Senate and pretend like he didn't even say these things. Quote, this is coming out of his dirty mouth. MLK Jr. was the 1960s George Floyd, and his holiday should be ended and tossed into the Seventh Circuit of Hell where it belongs, end quote. Ingracia wrote in January 2024, according to the chat. One participant said, quote unquote, Jesus Christ, man, what are you saying out of your mouth? You don't hear him attacking any white advocates. You don't hear him attacking any white racists. You don't hear him attacking the Proud Boys or the KKK or whatever the hell they want to call themselves now. You don't hear him attacking anybody but black people because he thinks that we'll sit down and we'll shut up and we'll take it and won't respond. This is the same man who feels as though that George Floyd should have been murdered. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. And I said this the day it happened. I'm going to repeat myself. What happened to Charlie Kirk should have never happened in this country. Never. It never should have happened. And the person or anybody that's complicit with him, that's responsible for it, they need to pay the ultimate price. Everyone in this country has a right to his or her own ideologies politically. Everybody has a right to his or own opinions. But when you start personalize those opinions in a demagoguery way, thinking that it's going to help your cause, that's where you cross the line. I have friends that I differ with politically, but we're still friends. I can agree to disagree. Just because a person is black doesn't mean they have to be a part of the Democratic Party. I don't have a problem with black people that are part of MAGA or a part of the Republican Party. If that is your persuasion, if that is your ideology, if that's the conscience, the way you vote, more power to you. But this kind of foolishness right here is uncalled for. Because that's a dog whistle that he sends to other races out the nation. I got your back. using an Italian slur for black people, Ingracia wrote a month earlier in the group chat seen by Politico, quote, no mulligan holidays. From Kwanzaa to MLK Jr. to Black History Month to Juneteenth, end quote, then added, quote, every single one needs to be evacuated, end quote. How about this? Why don't they take your immigrant ass and send you back to where you came from? You don't hear him saying get rid of any white holidays. Personally, I don't care about any holiday. You can have any type of holiday you want in America. I respect your right to have it. You can have all the monuments you want in the country to all your heroes from the days of slavery up until now. That's no problem with me. A monument is a monument. You can rewrite history any way you want to rewrite it to support your narrative and point of view, but I have a right to research the annals of history and to present the truth pertaining to my people. It goes both ways. If you don't want to sit down at the table of brotherhood together, then let's sit down at the table of hate and talk. I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm not trying to get along with you. I'm not trying to integrate into your world. I'm not trying to integrate into your neighborhood. I'm not trying to integrate into your schools and into your private racist clubs. You can have them. Desegregation was one of the worst things that happened in this country because it destroyed and annihilated the economic stability for black people in this nation. Politico interviewed two people in the chat and granted them anonymity after they expressed concerns about personal and professional repercussions. One retained the messages and showed the text chain in its entirety to Politico. Your ass got caught, which independently verified that the number listed on the chat belongs to Ingracia. The person said he came forward because he wants, quote, the government to be staffed with experienced people who are taken seriously, end quote. Who are you to determine about somebody's qualifications? What are your qualifications to head up that agency and department? He's only thinking about pigmentation of skin color. The second person has since deleted the chain and didn't recall specifics about it, but did confirm the discussion took place. You damn right discussion took place. You know it took place. You know these are real quotes. These are not fabricated. This is not fake news. This stuff is not made up. Nobody's lying on this SOB. He said it. And he probably said more. Let me take a quick break for a minute. I'll be right back. Tyrone Bowman Live. Let me tell you something, people. We've gotten to the point in this country, you're either going to stand for what's right or you're going to stand for what's wrong. Families have been torn apart in America because of the outcome of this election. People can't even get together in a civil matter and discuss the differentiation of political ideologies. People just hating each other, disliking one another because of what? You think you got the right now in America to walk up and spit in somebody's face and say, well, I voted for Trump? You get your ass whipped. Just because you voted for somebody, that does not give you a license to be free with your bigotry and your hatred. The divisiveness in this nation, the polarization of races in this nation comes from the fact that a marginalized group of billionaires want chaos, confusion, and pandemonium in the country. They are the ones behind the scenes who support the candidates that will support their political ideologies. They will put millions and millions of dollars into their coffers if they will be their prophet, be their apostle, be their spokesperson, and say what they really want to say, but they can't say it because they know folk will boycott their businesses and destroy it. A lawyer, now listen for this, a lawyer for Ingracia, Edward Andrew Palzik, initially suggested that some of the text messages were intended to be poking fun at liberals, though he didn't confirm they were authentic. Bullshit, Mr. Lawyer. You are a bullshit con artist, and you are a liar. You are lying your ass off for your client. That's what you're doing. You're paid to lie. No, you're not pissing, quote unquote, liberals off. You are pissing off black people. I'm not going to bite my tongue, and I'm not going to kowtow and bow down. They were authentic. Quote, looks like these texts could be manipulated or are being provided with material context omitted. However, Agrando, even if the texts are authentic, they clearly read as self-depreciating and satirical humor, making fun of the fact that liberals outlandishly and routinely call MAGA supporters Nazis. He wrote in the statement, that's because the majority of the MAGA supporters are Nazis or Nazi sympathizers. How about this, Mr. Attorney? If your client has said the same thing about the Holocaust and Jewish people, and then you said that it was taken out of context, the ADL will be all over your ass. And you know it. You people are selectively targeting people who you think cannot fight back and speak for themselves. You are selectively and pointedly sending out a dog whistle, MAGA fringe of the Republican Party, to let them know that you are in solidarity with their bigotry. You're in solidarity with their racism. That you are in solidarity with their hatred. That's why the white power salute, the white power sign is always going up. But when black people put on a black glove and hold our fist up, then it's a big problem. No, I'm a criminal justice major, sir. I'm a law student. You can't BS me. Your client is guilty. Reason why he lawyered up, because his ass is going to have to answer for it before the Senate Judiciary Committee when the Democrats cross-examine him and grill him. In quote, this is a lawyer talking. In quote, Mr. Ingracia has incredible support from the Jewish community because Jews know that Mr. Ingracia is the furthest thing from a Nazi. Bullshit. He does not. Notice how he uses that phraseology. He is a Nazi. That's what he is. He said it out of his mouth. He meant what he said what he meant, and now he's going to have to own up to it because it's in the ether. It's in the cosmos. Quote, in this age of AI authentication of allegedly leaked messages, which could be outright falsehoods, doctored or manipulated or lacking critical context is extremely difficult. He said, really? Really, counselor? Really, you stupid imbecile? Suppose a black person would have said the same exact things out of their mouths against white people. If your client has said the same thing against some other group of people, you wouldn't even have a leg to stand on, and you know it. No, we're not going to sit back, and we're not going to let people continue to attack us, attack our credibility, attack our intelligence, attack the accomplishments that our ancestors and people have done on behalf of this country, attack the integrity of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was assassinated on April 4th, 1968, at the age of 39 years old. You know this man has a family and is still alive, but you don't give a damn. You're not going to do it. You're not going to put all the salacious details that you talk about Dr. King's life. Let me just say this for the record. What about all these filthy, lying, dirty, whoring, adultering, fornicating, and in some instances, closeted homosexual Republicans? and who are always calling themselves the Family Values Party. Yet they condemn gay people. They condemn the LGBTQ community. They condemn them. They judge them. They damn them to hell. But you don't condemn the log cabin gay fringe of the Republican Party. But you don't condemn the gays in the Republican Party. Human beings are human beings. You don't condemn the adulterers and the fornicators in the Republican Party. That's just like some preachers always standing up before their congregation talking about sin, 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 and damning them to hell. Then you find out that your pastor, a liar, your pastor's a whoremonger, your pastor's committed adultery on his wife many times. But the average congregant in the church, if they had done the same things, they would have thrown him out. The church world condemns the homosexuals and the bisexuals and the lesbians, yet you will take their money, you'll use their gifts, you'll use their talents, and then you damn them to hell. You hypocrites, you. Then his dumb lawyer goes on to say, what is certain, though, is that there are individuals who cloak themselves in anonymity while executing their underhanded personal agendas to harm Mr. Ingratiate at all costs. We do not concede the authenticity of these purported messages. You don't have to concede to them. That's just like the Republicans. They speak on the condition of anonymity all the time. Mr. Counselor, Mr. Barrister. In May 2024, the group was bantering about a Trump campaign staffer who'd been hired in Georgia and was working in outreach to minority voters when Ingratiate suggested he didn't show enough deference to the founding fathers being white, according to the chat. Why do I have to show great respect to the founding fathers of this country because they were white? We already know they were white. They don't get, what do they want, a medal? What do you want? Do you want a parade? It doesn't go like that. It doesn't go like that. That's not how things are done. Nobody's color should supersede anybody else's color, not in America or any place around the world. Quote, Paul belongs in the Hitler Youth with Uber, groping Führer, Steve Bannon, end quote. The first participant in the chat wrote, referring to the paramilitary rank in Nazi Germany and the Republican strategist. Politico is not naming the participants to protect the identity of those interviewed for this article, as they should. Quote, I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. I will admit it, Ingratiate responded, according to the chain. One of the people in the text said in an interview that Ingratiate's comments was not taken as a joke. And 3 participants pushed back against Ingratiate during the text exchange that day. Referring to white nationalist Nick Fuentes and the Live from America show on the video sharing platform Rumble, a second member of the group replied, new LFA show coming starring Nick Fuentes and Paul Adolf Ingratiate. To which Ingratiate wrote, capital LAMO, end quote, according to the group chat. You're going to tell me that's taken out of context? Man, you're a fucking liar. I'll just say it the way it has to be said. You are a fucking liar. And you know you are. The existence of the messages comes as Ingratiate's nomination to lead the Office of Special Counsel, an agency that investigates federal employee whistleblower complaints and discrimination claims, among other sensitive work, is already in trouble. Earlier this month, Politico reported that Ingratiate, who's 30, has been the subject of an internal investigation at the Department of Homeland Security. where he works as White House liaison after a sexual harassment complaint was filed against him. The woman who filed the complaint later withdrew it, sure, because she was probably threatened and intimidated, and said there was no wrongdoing because she was threatened and she was intimidated. Women are not protected in this nation the way they should be. Women are harassed, they're hunted, they're battered, they're taken advantage of. When they lodge these complaints, these companies fire them, they degrade them, they try to humiliate them, even in the court of law. Many times they're not treated with the respect that they're supposed to be. Spokespersons for the White House and DHS did not respond to requests for comment about the text messages. In July, Republican senators delayed Ingracia's nomination hearing, with one airing concerns about some statements about anti-Semitism. Why would they delay the hearing if there was not any validity or substance to the statements that this jackass made? Ingracia made other racist remarks. According to the chain, in January 2024, he wrote a former Republican presidential candidate, Ramaswamy, never trust a Chinaman or Indian, and then added, never. The text show Ramaswamy, the son of Indian immigrants, declined to comment. Well, why would you criticize him when he's one of y'all? A month later, discussing why some Republicans feel that Democrats make black people into victims, the text shows, Ingracia remarked, quote, blacks behave the way because that's their natural state. You can't change them. You know what? You behave the way you are because you decided to become who you are. That is an inference to black people, a reference in inference to that black people are animals, black people criminals. Like there ain't no white criminals? Are you serious? I did 10 years of state penitentiary, and I saw more white criminals in the 4 state penitentiaries that I was in than I did black criminals. So don't tell me that white criminality doesn't exist. And they were there for some of the most heinous of crimes. He then added, according to the chat, proof, all of Africa is a shithole and will always be that way. Making reference to what then President Trump in 2016 used the term shithole country to describe some African nations in Haiti. I'll be right back right after this. This kind of foolishness is going to stop. We're going to have our own organization that's going to grow, and anybody who dare start attacking black people, viscerating us and talking about us in any type of demeaning way, we're going to make sure we vote you out of office. How about that one? I just keep thinking that political football for leverage is going to continuously be enlarged toward black people, and that we're not going to respond. We're not going to say anything. No, you're not going to insult Dr. King no more. You're not going to insult Coretta Scott King. You're not going to insult the black heroes and heroines of this country and of this nation. The May 2024 discussion surrounding the Nazi remarks turned serious as Ingracia dug in. Ingracia at first remarked that the Georgia operative should, quote, read a book, if she's able to, on George Washington, America's founding, into the chain. Paul, you are coming across as a white nationalist, which is beneficial to nobody, a third participant in the chat replied, quote, unquote. When Ingracia apparently said that, quote, defending our founding isn't white nationalist, that participant pushed back, saying Ingracia reflectively went to saying whites built the country, end quote. We all built this country. You didn't build nothing. You want to debate me? Try that crap with me in the debate. I will grind him up. There's a lot more to this article, and I'm going to try to sum it up before I have to go. And the bottom line is this: he does not deserve to be the head of an agency for whistleblowers. And the reason why the Senate Judiciary Committee has not confirmed him by now, because they know there's going to be a pushback. There's going to be so much said against him and about him. Go ahead and put him out in the forefront. Put him in the forefront. Plaster him on all the racist, bigoted networks and build him up to be a hero. Nah, you're not going to do that. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And it's time for us to unify with one mind, one purpose, one goal, one objective. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go for now. I'll catch you all later. Never surrender. Never quit.